Hello, I'm Alexandra and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all about BookTok. With that being said, I'm not that into BookTok. I don't see book recommendations on TikTok. My For You page is something else entirely. So I had to go look up at some websites to find out which books are popular, and I decided to do a little list on if popular BookTok books are actually worth it. Also, I just want to say that I haven't read a lot because basically I know they don't usually work for me, so I haven't been reading a lot, but I did find some books that I've read that I think I'm gonna attempt to talk about that. Also, it's early in the morning, so I might be not awake yet. Okay, so we'll start with Ali Hazelwood. Apparently she's very popular on BookTok. I keep saying booktube. Anyway, apparently she's very popular on BookTok. And what I'm gonna say is that I think this is the best one. It's The Love Hypothesis. This is the first book in the series, and I think it's the best one because it's like the first time you read about this type of people. So basically you have a PhD student and a professor that falls in love, which is, I mean, for some it might be weird, but when you're a PhD student, you're also an adult, and you know. Anyway, this book was well done. The rest of the series is the same thing over and over again, so I did not enjoy it. I think I read the second. Did I read the third? I'm not sure, but I read the second for sure, and I just thought it was exactly the same thing as this, which didn't work for whatever reason. I think this is the best one. Also, I know she has written some young adult. I haven't read that, so I don't know about it. But if you're trying to read an Ali Hazelwood book, I would go with this one to start, and maybe the rest of the series will work for you because I think the writing is great, the storytelling is great, the characters are great. So this one was my favorite, and I think you should try it. Should I put it here? Okay, I'll put it here. Okay, then I have a book that I hated. So we have Twisted Love by Anna Huang. Basically, I've read it because it was part of a challenge I was reading. I was reading some Goodreads awards. I don't remember the title of that award, but anyway, in the romance section. So I read Twisted Love, which was okay. Was maybe like a 3 stars at the best. Then I started the second book in that series. I'll put it here, and it was so bad. Okay, I DNF'd it. Okay, so it was categorized as dark romance. I would categorize it as bad romance, creepy romance, abusive romance. Anyway, you get my point. It was just bad. Don't do that to yourself. Just anyway, it was a good thing I got it from the library. I listened to it, which was okay, but you know. Anyway, Anna Huang, not for me. I know she wrote another series. I won't be reading it. It just didn't work. Then we have a book I actually loved. It's Beach Read by Emily Henry. I've read a couple of her books. Also, I don't have my copy because I just let a friend borrow it for a while. But anyway, it was such a good read. And also, I believe this was my first read by her. Was it? Unless it was People We Meet on Vacation. Anyway, one of those two. It's just contemporary romance with adults, you know, just adults going through life and having a bunch of issues. I feel like her newest releases are not as good. I feel like she's got very popular, and I feel like her publisher maybe pushed her to write some books, and yeah, I think Beach Read and People We Meet on Vacation and Book Lovers are great, and I think I've read another by her that I did not like, so you know. But overall, Emily Henry is a good writer, so she's good. It's worth reading her. Then we have Sarah J. Maas. I've read A Court of Thorns and Roses and absolutely loved it. I've read the 5 books I'm guessing there's gonna be a sixth book eventually, but I've read those 5. I enjoyed them, reread them, all of that. I think they are worth it. Like, it's funny because that in the first book you really love one guy and then you hate him. Anyway, I think the last book was the best. Yeah, I think it's worth reading them all. I haven't read the other series by her, Throne of Glass, I think. I haven't read. I tried the first book, but I just never pushed through, so I don't know, maybe one day I will. But I think Sarah J Maas is worth reading. It's also like young adult fantasy, which is a good way to start fantasy, because yeah, like I read Brandon Sanderson, but I don't recommend starting fantasy by reading Brandon Sanderson. So I think Sarah J Maas is a good way to start reading fantasy. Then we have another, I should have picked up the books. Anyway, we have The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. By who? I don't remember. Give me a second, I'll find the book. Okay, so we have The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Absolutely love this book. I listened to it as an audiobook, which I think was a good way to go through that book, and I bought it new because I loved it so much. In this, you're following Evelyn Hugo as she goes through life and finds a bunch of things about her and about people that she goes through life with. I think it's very great. The way it was done was also great. I think Taylor Jenkins Reid writes beautifully, so you know, this is worth reading in my opinion. Then we have Colleen Hoover. I've never read anything by her, but from what I've seen, all her books are about abusive relationships. And I'm not gonna read that because, like, I don't think it's great. I don't want to see a woman falling in love with an abusive man. And I know some people are gonna say, oh, you should read it. I'm not interested, basically. I think there are way more good romance than abusive romance. So that's how I feel about Colleen Hoover. I don't think, honestly, like, no one would convince me to read that. So anyway, then we have Madeline Miller. She's really popular on booktok apparently, and it just didn't work for me. It's not that it's bad. I've read 2 books by her. I wrote here The Song of Achilles, and I don't know why. I think it's the writing, maybe, because the premise sounds good. I mean, retellings, I love retellings, but it just didn't work. I'm really confused as to why, because some people I follow that I know have the same opinions, mostly the same opinions on books than my opinions. They love it, but I just didn't. So I wouldn't say it's not worth it. For me, it didn't work, but I think it could be worth it. If it works for you, it's great. So, I mean, I'm not some on these. I hate it, but for Madeline Miller, it's not about the fact that I hated her. It's just the fact that it didn't work for me. So for me, it's not worth reading, but I think some people might enjoy that. So I would say it could be worth reading. Then we have Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I have read that, loved it. It's been a while though, and I don't remember everything about that book, but I remember overall enjoying it. I think I gave it like a 3.5, 4 stars. So, you know, I think it's worth reading, and I have nothing else to say about this book. Then a book I just finished is apparently very popular on BookTok. It's The Daughter of Dr Morrow by Silvia Moreno Garcia, if I remember correctly. And it's categorized as horror. I wasn't scared at all. It was just a weird hybrids type of book. It just didn't work for me. I think I'm gonna give it like 2 stars. I don't think it's worth reading. I think the other one, I put it here, but the other one she has written, Mexican Gothic, is actually very good. But The Daughter of Dr Morrow, no. Then we have by Dark Vanessa. I'll put it here. I love that book. But the thing is, I get why some people didn't like it. I also get why people liked it. It just, this one is an abusive relationship, but it's written as an abusive relationship, like it's not pictured as romance. So in this book you're following a woman who has gone through some hard time with a teacher when she was a teenager, so you know, abusive relationships, and how she lives right now as an adult regarding to those events. It's good. I think it's good, and it makes you think about a lot of things, but don't forget it's not a romance, so different than Colin Hoover, I guess. Then the last book I'm gonna mention is a book I hated, and I keep talking about the fact that I hated that book, but it's Normal People by Sally Rooney. It was just bad. Okay, nothing happened, the characters were boring, the writing was not good, it was just an overall mess. I've never read anything else by Sally Rooney. I will never, because I hated that book to a point where, like, just thinking about it makes me ick. It just didn't work for me. I don't know why it's popular. I just don't. It's not worth it. Don't read it, okay? If I can stop someone from reading that book, just one person, I will be happy. So anyway, these are the books I think are popular on BookTok. Not sure, but anyway, and my opinions on them. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you soon in another video. Bye!